Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Selena Treybuck here. I am a divine embodiment and activation coach. I also am board certified as a hypnotherapist in timeline therapy and also NLP. And I work with a multitude of different intuitive gifts to be able to help others to reach their full and true maximum potential, to really step into and to really ignite the light that they hold within inside themselves to ignite their life in whole. So, I today wanted to pop on here and just share something that's really been channeling through a message that's really just been coming through. And that's, you know, it's on leadership. It's on the space of codependency versus independency, and really what we're stepping into and stepping away from. The paradigm of the space of leadership, where before there was so much control, there was so much manipulation, there was so much that was really kind of forced out of the space of finding someone's pain, right? And really focusing on using pain to move forward, to improve, to shift, but also to keep an attachment there, right? Really building a cord of codependency that is there. Um, and really feeling that melting away as this new paradigm, as this new earth, as this new space is really coming into the forefront. So what does that mean? What does that look like? What are we really stepping into, and what's really being paved for our children, for our grandchildren, for the future? And that is really of independency, which, speaks to my soul and has spoke to my soul for years and years and years, is really teaching, really helping individuals to step into and embody who they are as a leader. And leader of one is a leader of all, right? The Not the space of that one is at a higher hierarchy, but really that when we all divinely step into our own independent, our own, true unique leadership space of who we are, who our unique body, who our unique soul is here, what the work is that we are here to do, we really ignite, we really expand the potential of the full world, right? So being able to um, step away from these patterns, step away from these conditioning, step away from the boxes that we have all operated out of for so many years in the human space, and stepping more into the space of true empowerment, true authenticity, true, really innately helping one to really navigate, utilize, and find and embody their true uniqueness, their true gifts, and their true love at a whole different level than what we've been operating at from previously before this. So, as 2020 is coming through the space of closure, right? I don't really feel like there is a true just timeline. Yes, we have a man-made timeline that came up from this year to year, but I really feel like it's more of a transition, right? It's more of a just a physical space to be able to say, all right, now we're into a next phase. Now we're into a next space. So this right now, maybe you've been feeling this. Maybe you've been in a space of say home-based business, or in your job, or maybe it's in a relationship, maybe it's in how you feel in your body right now, of this codependency that if I don't do this with someone else, or if um I don't do it in this way, then I will never be successful. Okay. And we're all free and clear of these statements, but there's so much of this that's going on. There's so much of this manipulation that's went on for years, instead of really true empowerment at the level of creating independency, right? When we all shine our light, when we all step into our full embodiment of leadership, even in our marriages and our relationships that we have, and we really hold the space of who we authentically are, that also allows someone else to stand in the space of who they truly are. And then there's no intertwining of, well, if you're not who I want you to be, or if I'm not who you want me to be, this codependent circle, right? Some are really seeing the falling away of the narcissistic space as well, right? Which it all really kind of goes hand in hand. There's really kind of some gray areas in both of those spaces. But when we start seeing that stuff starting to dissolve, when we start seeing those things start shifting and changing, that is when we really start seeing a rise in true connections in relationships. This is when you really start to see a rise in individuals really stepping into their full power. Power isn't something that is of controlling others. Power is an embodiment to be able to be a reflector to others, in really being able to help them to see what really is truly capable, what is truly possible, and helping them to really see and start seeing the light within inside of themselves, to really start stepping into what they are here to be doing in this earth and in this body and in this space and in this time, to really just shift things from the old paradigm over to the new. I foresee a lot of more just living at ease, right? So you may be asking yourself, why would we want to shift from this codependency space, right, where we're dependent upon somebody else for everything that we are doing, and stepping more into this independent role? Well, with that, there is a melting away of these judgments that we have so feared, or created a space for these judgments over all of these years, that starts to dissolve. There is a melting away of certain anxieties of not being able to fit inside of the box, right? We start expanding a whole other view and a whole other version, a whole other set of dreaming that can occur when we start melting away those boxes. So, there is a calming, there is a peace, there is a real, true life filling fulfillment of stepping into our passions and stepping into your purpose. And you may be saying to yourself, I have no clue what those are. That is okay, right where you are. Own where that is that you are, and start recognizing in where would you like to move. What are you feeling called? What is really coming to your heart? What is really just keeping on popping up in your spaces for shifts and for changes? And this is something that the work that I do on a deeper level, working with the unconscious, right? I have coaches that will come to me at times and they're like, oh, well, I already know how to do those things, right? And really, when you start seeing the breakthroughs, when you start seeing the shifts, is when they allow themselves to be led, right? Or allow someone else to be able to help them to really tap into and kind of see what they can't see in their blind spots, right? I myself have had to do this and will continue to do this over the years, right? When something starts popping up, starting to become a real navigator of, ooh, where is this coming from, right? What is this? Some things, yes, we can transmute that, we can alchemize it, we can just shift that right away. And more we are in a space of empowering people to be able to do that, instead of staying in that codependent space of, oh, well, you have to just keep following the system, you have to just keep following this box, you have to keep sticking to this specific strategy, and that's it, right? But really expanding the resources, the tools, to be able to help somebody to really just transcend, move through that process a lot faster. So again, through that, um, you're going to see individuals moving at a far faster rate, right? So that's what I really have seen over the years, and utilizing working with someone on their timeline and really helping them to be able to, I call it, kind of connect the dots of what their journey has been, that maybe they just missed that opportunity right then for that lesson or for that learning, and they had other learnings that came into play, right? There's no fault. Like, everything truly in our lifetimes is happening for us and have happened for us. So being able to take somebody back on their timeline with the work that I do, and really tap into what some of those questions are, right? Individuals for years have came and they've said, well, why, right? Why? Well, we really can figure out and deep dive into what the roots of those whys are. When somebody has those empowering answers, they really start stepping into more of that true independent space, right? That true leadership of their leader of one, that really creates, identifies, that really sets the example, right? Sets the ignition to ignite other leaders around them. So I just wanted to pop on. I wanted to share that. This is really coming through strong. If you really feel some connection with this, if you have felt, there was just something more, maybe you're at this space. Like, I know for myself over the years, I've hit some huge, successful achievement marks, right? To be left at a space of still just saying, just feeling empty, right? Not feeling and having this knowingness that there was more to step into, right? We all have our each space. I'm not saying everyone needs to go on and go into coaching or doing deep work or doing past life work, like I do, and so many other beautiful souls do. But really helping one to identify what are they to be embodying here in this life. What is their beautiful role as when we're all leading in our own individual unique calling role. And that will shift, that will change, that will evolve as the years go by. But really, starting at that full empowered space of having fun with the discovery, having fun when the spaces of these obstacles start stacking, right? And really just not in anticipating the hard, but learning to look at it as a sign, learning to look at those things as clues, as identifiers to a whole other level, right? And I don't really think of those levels as like a hierarchy. Those levels really are levels of just true happiness, right? The true joy, the true feelings of peace, really vibrating at a space where you're not living and operating out of that codependent space of, oh my gosh, if I'm not doing enough, or oh, I need to work more, I need to it just got to go, it's got to be harder, like right? Like these old paradigms that are falling and operating and that were burning people out at such spaces where they were hitting the rock bottoms of overwhelm, where they were like myself. And I was chatting earlier today on I could have been labeled, right, bipolar, because I had so many fight flight responses going on because I didn't know how to listen to the signs that my body was sharing with me from a dis-ease space, right? Whether it was from these high feelings with major anxiety, major panic attacks to the point like I would literally black out, right? Um, I would have shaking afterward. I'd be so exhausted afterward. And then hitting these other spaces where I couldn't hardly get off of the couch. There was no motivation left. There was no inspiration left. I was really just tapped out. So, really being able to help someone independently start to be able to check their chakras and see where they are, starting identifying things before they start really getting to a point where your body is just in this fight flight, like sending off the fire alarms of, oh my gosh, help, help, we got to find safety, right? And this is what really happens when we're operating out of those codependency spaces. It takes the independency, it takes the real true power of being able to really tap into and trust our own intuitions, to be able to really trust what our body is trying to tell us in those moments. And so really taking individuals to a whole higher level of their own leadership, that again in turn ignites a whole fire of leadership around them. I want you to think to yourself, if you've ever had a health journey, if you've ever had a fitness journey, if you've ever had whatever your success, you're successful at everything that you have done up until this point, right? So, I want you to think of a moment where you did something and that inspired somebody else in their own journey. Maybe you didn't even know about it for years that you had inspired that individual to do that, right? So think of that. If you were able to inspire somebody to really step into their own individuality, you were really there in helping somebody to really just embody. Like I've went around most of my life being able really just to see this full light inside of other individuals. Having one conversation with somebody that literally then they turn around and they went and they built a $1 million business, right? Or the one conversation and they decide, oh my gosh, if you've done, I could do this too. And they've went and they've shifted jobs and stepped into a job that really has brought them so much more joy and so much more peace in their life. Individuals that I've had conversations about, the dis-ease that was popping up in their body, and they went on and became amazing practitioners because they really can feel what somebody else is going through. Individuals who've completely shifted their identity, right? It's an identity shift. You don't have to own, you don't have to continue to wear, no matter what people tell you, which is a codependency route, that this is your identity because of your hair, because of your color of your skin, because of your sex, because of what you've done in the past, or because of what you're doing right now, right? Don't. We own the power to choose whether to put those codependency coats on or to put these heels on, right? Or put this fire in to our souls and our body to start putting up those boundaries, to start listening when the signs start coming in, right? I love when a client will message me and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, Selena, you're not going to believe what happened today and what I did." Right? And they took the power, they took that independent self to step into and make a different choice than what they ever would have chosen before. To feel that joy, to feel that, true connectedness, to feel them really listening to their higher self. That is what this lifetime is for me. And I hope that you, even with this video, something is activated inside of your soul to know that you are not here to be dependent upon somebody else's box, to be dependent upon following all the rules. Or as I say in my trainings, those BS rules, those bullshit rules. If they don't fit you, they don't fit you. But really empowering you to step into your best version of you, to your highest level of self of where you are right now. Again, there's never a point of full arrival. We should always stay in the space of opportunity to continue to grow, to continue to move, to continue to start listening to our light and stepping into what we really, truly, authentically are here to do. So with that, I would love to hear anything that has came up, anything that has resonated for you. Please share that below. You can find me on Instagram at Selena Treybuck Ignite Life. You can find me on Facebook at Selena Treybuck, and that's Salena. Yes, it's a little bit different, otherwise you will not find me. If you would like in to my specific container, Ignite Your Life Goddess, message me, let me know that. I drop that below, and I'll get you added to that container. If you're feeling called to deep dive further, if you're saying, listen, I know that there's some blind spot, and I don't know what that blind spot is, and I'm looking for someone to be able to help me to identify that blind spot. I do have a different approach to things. It's really based upon really just self-empowerment, and for you to be able to really self-pace working through those shifts, really learning to move at a faster rate. So I do some hypnotic activation tracks as well that will be completely personalized to you. There are some group ones as well you could utilize if you're feeling called to any of that. Some of my deepest work that I do with individuals, and this all came through my own calling, my own need, my own just openness, right? To dive in a little bit deeper to what those roots were that were holding me back. I carried so much rage for so many years that wasn't even mine, right? From being in the box, from the codependency, from narcissistic relationships, from things from past life, from things from generations that have been passed down. So really being able to clear, right, those emotions that get so easily trapped into our bodies, really being able to alchemize them, really being able to go back to those moments that sometimes they're just such little things. It's like one thing that somebody has said to us, not even a full experience. I think when we think of traumas, we think that it has to be something really, really, really deep and awful. And like our brain goes to this whole other space, but really it's not. Our bodies, our human physical bodies can experience trauma as somebody looked at you a certain way, that can choose to create an emotional response that is just as much as if it was something that was majorly traumatic. And we carry that around until we're shown how to really dive into that and really look into what really was there, what really was being triggered in this space. So that is some of the magical work that I'm so honored and so blessed to be able to do with so many women and men. to be able to help them let go. There's nothing more fascinating to me than working with a client and really, whether it's in on Zoom or whether it's in person, seeing their, like, they start out like this, right? They're just carrying the weights. They've just got so much on their shoulders, but seeing them just relax, seeing them let go, their whole body, like literally the move, right? Their bodies let go of all of that they were holding on, learning to choose, different routes, learning to really step into, right? Really just fall into, really just embody who they are, to own in their aura, to own in their energy, a confidence that they have dreamed of for so long, a happiness that they have just seen, but now they're experiencing and feeling. So no matter what your life has been up to now, like every single bit of it has been written perfectly for you. If you'd like to deep dive into that, please reach out, please connect, just set up with some information on how we can do that together. And remember, you are powerful in just the space that you are. You don't need a box. You don't need a strategy. You just need to find that light again back inside. So much love. Until next time, have a beautiful evening and a beautiful day. And remember to shine your light.